که اگر نوشته کردم میخوایم راجع به وطن خودم یک کتاب نوشته کنم.
وقتی که ما این شاگردا رو میبینیم معمول خردی خدا آدم یاد آدمه.
ما وقتا دوران ما تا دوران از یا بسیار فرق میکنه.
دادش کلان شد اولادش.
آینده وطن است.
چرا تا زمین میزنیم که آخر کار ما چی میشه.
یک دفعه باز سالهای قبلی و جنگاشا
به غیر حضور پروردگار میفهم که چی خواهد شد.
از کلان شده میتونم ما که داستانی که میخوایم راجع به این دوست که پدر مادر پدر میخوایم این قسم یک کتاب نوشته کنم.
It's true that these are real people, it's real life, but what you are doing is not real life. It's an interpretation of real life. It's just like if you see a tree and you turn around to your canvas and now you're painting the tree. That's it. You're making an interpretation of reality. It's still, even if you're a documentary filmmaker, what you're making is only a representation of this reality. If you're a fiction filmmaker, so you can make the tree and there's also a beautiful girl under the tree, even though she's not really there. You know, you change reality because it's fiction and you can make whatever you want, you know, and you can add things and take them away and so on, you know. Documentary, basically we're saying, okay, we're painting still, but we're painting from life instead of out of our imagination. It's a process of choice. You know, what do you want to do and then how are you going to do it? Yeah, you want to be open-minded, you're a documentary filmmaker and reality, you're not controlling reality. But you do control certain things about how you show reality. You know, where are you filming? Who are you filming? How do you film them? These are all the questions that you can answer only if you know a general idea of your approach. Why are you making this film? Who are you making it for? Do you have any kind of picture of this film in your mind before you start? Of course, the end result will be different from the picture in your mind. But you have to have some kind of guiding principle in the beginning that allows you to make decisions. And sometimes reality will start to decide things for you, or it will inspire you to make decisions in a particular way. And I think in documentary especially, you have to be able to feel the reality and work with reality in a way that you don't have to always do in fiction. So it's much more like you're dancing with the real world in documentary, and in fiction you're entering a blank room and you're creating the reality the way you like it. But so the beauty of documentary is that you know, as a way of life, like you are exploring the real world and opening your mind to things that you didn't think about before. Like in fiction film, you're limited to whatever is in your head. In documentary, you're limited to whatever is in the world, you know. So it is a good profession, like to, if you want to just keep on learning about the world, keep on having new experiences, meeting new people, learning new ideas. Documentary really is the thing to do instead of fiction. But you're still making something. You're making this artifact. You're making this virtual experience for the viewer. And whether or not people like your films, whether or not the audiences appreciate your work, it will usually be determined by how well you are able to craft this object, this virtual thing that you're going to see. We're limited as human beings. We can only see the things that are around us, or the things that we see on television or in a magazine or in the cinema. This is all we see of the world. We can't know everything that happens in the world. And documentary film and film in general is just a way to expand your perception of the world. My audience is probably 99% never going to go to Afghanistan, but I can give them this experience. I can create an experience for the audience so that can be as close as possible as them actually going to Afghanistan, spending time in Afghanistan, learning about the society, being close to people in a way that you can't be as a tourist or someone who just comes for a few days to do business or something like that. My idea is to give the audience, to spend my own time, to give the audience a shortcut to having an experience that it would take them years and years and a lot of time and effort to have that experience by themselves. My idea is to compress this experience of the real world into a form that the audience can absorb in 90 minutes, in 2 hours. Like I was saying the other day, right? You have this, it's like a training module in the Matrix. You're compressing reality into a form that can be absorbed by an audience. They can experience it. You're giving them a gift of experience. You're giving them a memory of a place that they've never been to. I mean, you really want to communicate something, and you want that what you communicate to be real, so that people watch it and they don't come away from your film with a wrong idea, but they're always going to come away from a film with an incomplete idea. Like, it's never everything. It's only a small taste. But at least the taste should be accurate, The taste should be honest, and it should give you an idea about what else is out there and how much you don't know. You know what I mean? The reality is we're just looking through a straw at the world, We can't see the whole thing. Yeah. So as much as possible, you want to expand this straw and make it bigger, This is the idea, the goal. Most people have something that they want to say. And especially if it's kids and no one, in a society where no one cares what kids think. So most of them have something that they want to say, and they've never been asked before, like, what do you think about, this or that? No one has ever come and really, been very interested in what they think, because they're just kids. So that can work to your advantage because they have things they want to say and no one has ever asked them before. So you give them an opportunity to start to say the things that are on their mind and the things that are kind of in their hearts, you know what I mean? You want to give them a safe space. You want to let them know that you're really interested in what they have to say, and then you give them this space to say it. But what is the voice that I want to hear as a director and that I want the audience to know about, that they maybe don't know about, So I will make that choice, like film ordinary people and film the civilians' perspective. Film the people who they'll never be on television. No one will ever ask them what they think. Like some 11-year-old kid in an auto shop in the middle of Baghdad, he's never going to, no one will ever ask him, But I'm much more interested in his life than I'm in the lives of, the president of the country or something like that. So I just don't include those people because it's just, that's a political choice also. Well, yeah, of course. Sometimes in documentary you can take a lot of things onto your own shoulders. In order for you to have empathy with your subject and really understand what they're feeling, you have to engage with them emotionally and really feel what they feel to understand it. So sometimes it can become a lot. It can become too much. If you're in a war zone and everyone you meet has a crisis situation. They all have a relative who has been killed or injured. They're all, I don't know, maybe you're filming in a refugee camp, so everyone around you, they have been kicked out of their house. They've had to leave their life. They've lost relatives. And everyone has problems, everyone around you in that situation. And so if you take on the problems of everyone onto your own shoulders, it will be too much, But you have to find a way to understand people's problems and to sympathize with their problems, but at the same time not to have everything always on your own shoulders, You have to remember like your relationship to people and so on. It's a strange thing when you can go to a country like Afghanistan, you're filming, there's a war going on, there are these people who, they don't know what to do, they think, well, if this war gets bigger, if there will be again a war inside Kabul, inside the city, what will happen to me, what will happen to my children? They're faced with these very real problems, but you as a filmmaker, yeah, it's dangerous while you are there, maybe someone could shoot you or kidnap you, you're always under a little bit of stress. But at the end, you're going to get on a plane and go back to some peaceful country, and you can escape from this situation. Those people living there, they can't escape. I mean, they can escape only by running across the border, as an illegal refugee maybe, or you're in a very different situation from them, and this difference can make a kind of tension or like in your own mind even. Maybe they're not thinking about it as much, but you think, why do I have this freedom and they don't have this freedom, Why am I protected and they're not protected? And you start to, it's not only that you feel the problems of this person, you start to feel all of the problems of the injustice of the world because of these inequalities and inequities, and that some person is rich and some person is poor, and you can see that the rich person is not better than the poor person. They just happen to have more money, and because of this money, their whole life is different. Their abilities to do things in life are different. Because of this thing that doesn't really mean anything, this amount of numbers in your bank account. So you start to think about these kind of global problems and world problems a lot more than maybe a normal person who doesn't have to always confront these situations so directly. But I don't know, I think it's not a bad thing, to open up your eyes to the world and see how the world really works, see different societies. You start to have a different idea about the world that you live in, maybe a more comprehensive idea. You start to see the world from more different angles. It makes you, I think, sometimes it can make you more of a political person, but it can also give you really concrete ideas about the world, and you'll be informed about the world in a way that you won't be if you're just reading the newspaper and watching TV, and you live in your own universe, and you never explore the universe of other people. Documentary filmmaker, it can expand your own world, and it makes your own world more complicated, but also more interesting, even though your heart may be on one side only, you know what I mean? As a filmmaker, you can do a lot more interesting things if you say, okay, like my heart, my mind might be on one side, but as a filmmaker, I want to make the most interesting film that I can, that will have be multi-dimensional. And you'll make a better movie like that, to be slightly separated from the group. But this is difficult. I understand that if you're a part of it, it's hard to say, okay, I'm going to step back and observe what happens. Observe my own friends, my own side in this conflict, say. Because sometimes from the outside also things look different. And all I mean is that as a documentary filmmaker, sometimes the most interesting thing you can do is step back a little bit from the group and observe the situation. And to really observe the situation, sometimes you have to be you're participating in it, but you're also an observer. You're standing back. Now you're not there to have conversations and to show your banner or whatever. You're there to really record it, And to do that, you're not, once you're with the camera, you're in the situation, but you're also out of the situation. You're looking at the world through this mediation of the lens, the screen, and you're doing it in order to do something, make a film. And your job now, it's different. It's not the same as everyone else who's there who is not making a film. It puts you in a different situation. I'm not saying that you that you change your idea politically. No, you're the same person. But if your ambition is to make a film, so you have to sort of step back from yourself, you know, from your personal desires somehow, and think, okay, how can I capture the situation in a way that it will be felt by an audience? So now you have a problem in your mind that you have to solve, which is completely different from the problems that the demonstrators, ordinary demonstrators, have in their minds. You know, which is, you know, will the police come? I don't know. This, they're trying, you know, expressing a particular political idea or something. But you, as a filmmaker, suddenly your job is different. The problem you are solving is not the same. You know, it's you're engaged in a craft, and your craft has a purpose. You know what I mean? But the purpose is not related to only to, like, it's bigger than one demonstration or one action or something. Your craft is then extending over a range of days, of events, and you're thinking about it in terms of like a long story which stretches. Which has many dimensions, and it's not only, you know, one thing. And so suddenly, the way you're thinking about what you're doing has been altered. Now suddenly you're not just a demonstrator. You're someone who is making a document of a time, say, like, you can think about it like in the future, 20, 30, 50 years, 100 years from now, what will people know about this time in Hong Kong? You know, how can I capture the moment so that in 1 century from now, people will look at this film and they'll be able to know what was happening, how is it happening, what did the people think. Now your job is totally much bigger than the job of just a demonstrator who goes and holds a sign. Now your job is like to be Leo Tolstoy with a camera, you know. This is what makes it exciting. And you have to remember the humanity of everyone. And it's like a lot more interesting when you can show things from many different perspectives and, you know, see the world like from really as it is, which is like not one-sided, you know, but many, many-sided. And to me, this is like the fascinating thing about it, you know. It's not that you don't have your own opinion. It's just that you're trying to capture reality, which is different from having just your own opinion. We spend maybe too much time just thinking about our own opinion and not enough time seeing the world from the point of view of other people. Like, I think, you know, if you look at the political, economic, social problems, environmental problems in the world, I think all of those things are easy to solve if people can see the world from another perspective. And I think that's what, you know, that's, for me, like, this is civilization. Pure individuality is like being in the jungle, like being an animal. Civilization is empathy, you know. This is the thing that human beings have. We can have empathy and understanding not only for ourselves and our own family and our own group and our own tribe, but you can understand the whole world, actually, if you make an effort. And you can see the perspective of people who are completely, you would think, completely unrelated to you and from a completely different background with different interests. You can also see their idea. And to me, this is the fascinating thing. I think the problems of the world can be addressed by, through understanding, you know what I mean? Not by taking only one position, but by trying to see the world as it is.